So it's another beautiful morning here in Hungary. It's day 2 of our driven hunt, and I just thought I'd give you a quick rundown of the truck and how we organise things here. We've driven across from the UK, we've stopped off in Belgium and then in Germany on the way. So we've got a particular system here that works for us. There's 2 hunters here, myself and Steve, plus 2 camera guys, so organising the back of the truck is pretty essential to make sure everything's where you need it, when you need it. Typically we'll take some food and a jet boil to make coffee, so that's kind of close to hand on the left hand side here. Everything else is stored in bags, in duffels, and they all get put into a particular place. The stuff that you don't need goes at the back, and the stuff that you need access to when we're hunting here at the front. So as you see, I've got my jacket out here, Steve's got his backpack, boots, my backpack here. In terms of the box system I've got, this is from Lintran. It's got a drawer on the left hand side and then a slot to put my rifles there on the right. It's also got 2 lockable storage compartments. I have my night vision and thermal on the right hand side, and then binoculars go down here on the left. Now we're not going to be using binoculars today because it's a driven hunt. We should be able to see quite comfortably in front of us 200 yards or so, so they're not needed. But as you can see, here I have my rifle, it's our 404 in its slip, and I also have a set of sticks. Now I will take these. If we're in a tree stand or high seat, then we won't need them, but if we're stood at the side of a field, then having some sticks to rest your rifle on. Your rifle's in the right position to take a shot, but it's not weighing on your arms and getting heavy. And also it gives you that extra 100, 150 yards if there is a longer shot, a 200, 250 yard shot. But we'll come to those in a second. Then we have my drawer, pretty long. At the back here, I have a cleaning kit and maintenance kit that has all the necessary tools that I might need for maintenance on the rifle. Here we have the ammunition. So we have my ammunition, 338 Win Mag at the front, 308 for the spare rifle, and Steve's 300 Win Mag at the back. Still very important to check your own ammunition before you load it into the rifle, of course. And then we both have a separate box each. Steve's here and mine here with the various bits and bobs of accessories. So because we're hopefully going to be sitting in a high seat today, I won't need to take my pack. It's not like we're stalking and I have to take food for the day. What I'll do, nice and simple, I have 2 bullet slides that have 6 rounds in each, 2 magazines, each of these holds 4 rounds, a pair of gloves, Peltor ear defenders. I'll take my knife sharpener, blade sharp. Now this is a Blade Tech. It's not a sharpener, it puts the edge back on. When you're opening up pigs, it can blunt an edge pretty quickly. So if you have 2 or 3 pigs, it's amazing how quickly the knife will blunt. So just being able to put the edge back on makes a huge difference. Today I'm going to be taking a neck buff. You lose 35% of your heat through your head, so always wear a hat. And I find this also helps to keep my neck warm. And then, maybe something like a set of hand warmers. But in this box, I've also got things like spare hats, spare gloves in case it's rained. I've got a roll call. You never know when you might be hunting different deer species. But once I've taken out everything I need, put the box back in. All of this will fit into my pockets, walk to the stand, and then you're done. So nice and uncomplicated. Don't take things that you don't need, otherwise it's just going to get in the way. I see far too many people with rucksacks loaded up with gear, cushions and blankets and all manner of things, which actually in this sort of environment isn't really necessary. So nice and simple. So just need to get the rifle out, put my jacket on, and then we'll head to the stand.
As usual, my good friend Georgie takes on the role of Master of Ceremonies. He's owned this hunting area for many years and has entertained hunters from all walks of life. He's a true character that adds to an already exciting experience.
Tommy, can we have a group photo before we go? While we're all together, can we get a group photo?
Hunting with a new group of people is an amazing experience, and it becomes as much about the friendships formed as it does about the hunting itself. It's a dull and slightly overcast morning as I get ready for the first drive. The head keeper briefs me on my safe arc of fire and the location of my fellow guns. Safety is of paramount importance and nothing is left to chance. It's then back to my well-rehearsed pre-drive routine to ensure everything is in place and to hand when I need it.
So here we are on the first drive. I was expecting to be in a high seat, so not a problem. I've got the stick, so out on the edge of a field here. I've got Steve on my right hand side, There's another fellow in a high seat just over this ridge here. So basically I've got probably an arc of fire 40 yards in front, about 150 yards to my right hand side, another 80 or 90 or so over to my left. It's really important that you have a good solid backstop. The pigs are big in the body, but there's a good chance of missing if they're running fast. Equally, we want to make sure that these 225 grain quantity Super Performance SSTs, got a lot of power behind them, have got something solid to stop. But it's a lovely day, nice mild morning, not quite as cold as it was yesterday. Seen a lot of pigs lying around this morning, so the animals should be in here. Let's just hope they're happy to come our way. So there we have it, first drive over. Once again, very uneventful. Heard a bit of shooting around us, but didn't actually see anything. Earlier on, as we were driving to the peg, there was a group of fallow does out in the field, probably about 15, 20 of them, but we didn't really get much of a sight. They disappeared over the horizon. One good thing though, the sunshine's come out, which is not particularly good for me with the hunter mouflon, the winter suit, but at least it's not raining. I suppose you've got to take positives out when the day's pretty slow. As I say, I have heard some shooting, so probably about 6 or 7 shots, 4 over to my left-hand side, a couple over the rise in front of me. So hopefully the guns that we're hunting with have had a few shots and brought some game down. But we do with this picking up a little bit. It is a little bit slow, but that's hunting for you, I suppose.
It's easy to get disheartened when things aren't going your way, but it's also vital not to lose focus. With so many films out there showing hundreds of wild boar hurtling through the forests, you can develop unrealistic expectations of what's to come. One thing that hasn't been a disappointment is my truck. After thousands of motorway miles across Europe, she's finally glad to get stuck in with the muddy stuff, although she definitely needs a wash. We catch up with the rest of the group to see how the morning's gone. It's been a similar story, but everyone seems in good spirits.
I don't think I'm going to need my gloves. GimmickStorage.com, that's what they call it.
It's a short walk down the hill to an area of clearfell for the second drive. No high seat for me this time, but I'm prepared with my sticks in any case.
So here we are, the second drive, and this is a lot more like it. Huge area of clearfell in front of us and behind, really deep, thick woodland over in the front there. Plenty of arable, plenty of crops, a lot of boar sign as we're coming here. So you've got to assume that they're going to be around. The beasts will come from in front of us to begin with, push whatever's in the woods over this ride, and then whatever will go past, and then they'll come flank around and then pull that woodland and bring it back again. So it could be a long drive, but hopefully this is looking a lot brighter, and as you can see around me, there's a lot of dense woodland here. There's a lot of rolling countryside. It's absolutely spectacular. Perfect for growing pigs. We just need to see a few. Yeah, something's coming. Right, okay. You ready? So finally, we've had some action. A fallow doe came over the ridge in front of us. Actually, to start with, there's only about 70, 80 yards away, up on the sticks, pretty much bread and butter shot. But unfortunately, she was skylined, running along the ridge, and the beaters currently in the wood over the far side of the ridge, so unfortunately not a safe shot. Had to wait until she cut round over to the right-hand side there. By the time I got my shot off, she was about 170 metres, so clean miss, disappointingly, but at least we've had something. You know, ideally what I'd like them to do is come a little bit closer into this area in front of me, a nice solid backdrop and a nice, easily achievable moving shot. She was tanking as well, she was running quite fast. Clearly, she's been scared by the dogs. Immediately after she ran off, there was a dog following her, hot on her tail. So yeah, disappointed not to make the shot, but at least we've seen something and our barrels have finally been smoked.
The beaters have now pushed all the way through the forest in front of us, marking the end of the first phase of the drive. Now we move and position ourselves on the other side of the ridge, as the beaters will now circle back around. We're quickly rewarded with another opportunity, but this time I can see a clear backstop in the forest behind.
You ready? You get that? Now this is getting pretty exciting. Had a pig down just in front of me on the left-hand side here, wounded by my fellow gun, running straight up towards us as it happened. So full on shot, I could see he was bleeding from his flank, so just got to take that shot whatever angle he has. He's down about 15 yards away. And then a shot I think that redeems the one I missed earlier on. Fallow doe jumps through the line, heading down towards the ridge on my left-hand side. The beaters aren't down there and I can see a nice clear backdrop, so I took that shot. And that has to be about a 160, 170 yard shot on a pretty fast-moving fallow doe, so very happy with that. So it's gone from being a bit of a slow day, missed my first shot, now it's picking up nicely. Sour 404, coupled with the Hornady Super Performance SST 225 grain in 338 with this Hawk Endurance 1-4x24, it's the perfect package, and so far it's serving me really well. The day really has warmed up.
We switch to the other ridge as the beaters make their way back out of the forest, and the drive is done.
Did you see the shot on that? Yeah. There's a tree with bare branches at the top. Yep. It was this side of that. So if it was going to be anywhere, it's going to be just over this ridge there.
With so much ground to cover, it's essential to help the beaters identify where the animals have fallen to ensure that game is retrieved. It's also important to dig in and help out where you can.
I need some green. Tomasz, I need a branch.
Now I get the privilege of participating in another important hunting tradition.
Congratulations, it was an excellent shot. It's been a great privilege to be able to hunt with you for your first time. It was a perfect shot in the engine room. I just came and finished it, and I hope all of your hunting in the future is as successful as this.
You're very kind. Thank you.
How's that, Tomasz? I learned from the best.
It's been an incredible drive, and many of our fellow hunters have either taken animals or at least had the opportunity.
What an amazing drive. It's been tough up until now. The expectation, disappointment, you know, you can hear shots going off, you can hear animals and even see animals that are out of season. But to get here, it just felt good. Clear fell in front of us, a lot of sign, and the drive was very productive. Now, we haven't met up with the other guns yet, but I definitely heard quite a lot of shooting down in the forest here. And we had fallow running through the woods earlier on. Definitely a lot of pigs down the hill behind me here. That's where Stephen was. He had a few shots at some Frieslings, and I know that Stefan got his first Kyler. So yeah, very productive drive. But for me, it was a tale of two stories really. Missed a tricky shot on a fallow doe earlier on, made up for that cleaning up a wounded boar on my left hand side, and then a shot I'm very proud of a little bit later on in the drive out on my right hand side, about 160, 170 yards. Great to see the animals, great to get some shots, and also great to know that the equipment is performing well. The training all kicks in, it's automatic, you go on reflex, you start to remember the things that have been shown to you, and then it all comes together, and then animals are humanely dispatched. So fabulous sunshine, a little bit too warm for my mouflon suit to be honest with you, but it's great to have some animals down, and there's still another drive left to go. So far an epic day.
For the final drive of the day, I finally get the chance to climb into a high seat. All of my other driven hunting so far this trip has been from the ground.
So it's the last drive of the day, and finally we've got to sit in a high seat. Most of the drives, in fact all of the drives the past 2 days, we've been stood in fields. Drive 2 is breathtaking. Lots of animals, great scenery, but it can take its toll on your legs. So here we're sat at the edge of a forest, 2 seats over to my right. There's a colleague of mine shooting on the left hand side of me, just so basically the arc of fire is about 45 degrees directly out in front of us. I'd imagine they're pushing the pigs from the far tree line. We haven't been over that side of the estate this morning, so it's still pretty fresh ground. The sun is dropping low in the sky, but it's only about 2:30, 2:45 in the afternoon, so still plenty of sunlight. But I've had a good day so far, but if we can get a couple more pigs, that really would be the icing on the cake.
I hear movement in the forest to my left and spot a fallow doe trotting through. The 225 grain Hornady Super Performance SST are like sledgehammers, maybe a little too much for fallow. I hear the beaters and the dogs closing in the woods behind us. suddenly a boar sprints out from the woodland on our right. I let it get clear of the other guns in the line before taking a shot.
So what an incredible drive. Lined up against this wood, a lot of movement behind us, heard a couple of shots and heard the beaters and a lot of activity. Heard a little break of a twig out to my left hand side, looked round and there's a fallow doe just walking across. Waited for it just to clear the branches and the undergrowth in the background, kind of slowed down, 225 grains of Hornady Superformance SST and down she goes. A few minutes later, 5 minutes at most, hear the beaters coming around behind us and then suddenly out to my right hand side, wild boar appears 40-50 yards away. Now I've got some guns over to my right hand side so couldn't take the shot straight away. Wait until it got into clear space in the field. Took a shot. By the sounds of it, it was a little far back and then the last one went in and took him down. So really pleased. Great finish to the day. We've had a good day shooting here. A little bit quiet starting in the first drive. Lots of excitement, beautiful landscape in the second. And this is a little bit more like I'm expecting. A lot of animals moving around, a lot of activity in the bush and then finished off with 2 outstanding shots. So really pleased. The whole trip's been great from start to finish, starting in Belgium with Jachthuis van Dromme, then going to the Sauer factory, then stalking, bit of a slow day's driven shooting yesterday, and then a perfect day to top it off today. So really happy. Now we need to get down, have a look at this pig and see what we've shot. Big pig, good. Backer.
What's up? Next to you.
Have you had a shot though? That's good. Great, drinkies. Big old sow.
Before we can get stuck in with the celebrations, there's a little housekeeping to be done.
Going through this one now, mate.
We've picked up more than a little of the Hungarian landscape on our adventure, and the wheels are well and truly out of balance. And onto the tableau, my favourite part of the hunt.
So one of the things I enjoy most about hunting in Europe is the traditions. All of the game is celebrated here. It's a thanksgiving for nature's bounty. As you can see behind me, it's laid out in a tableau. All of the game is Keilers at the front, and then the Backer, Friesling, and then the animals all have their own place in the hierarchy. It really is a privilege to be able to hunt in this environment, and it's great to see the way that the game is celebrated. It's not just a matter of coming here and shooting for sport. All of the game here goes back into the food chain. The forests are managed in the same way as we managed forest back home for pheasant shooting. And all of the game is held in very high esteem. So here is a slightly different tradition from in Germany, from in France or from Scandinavia, but they all have the same thing at heart, which is a celebration of hunters coming together with beaters, foresters, the landowner, and then the thanksgiving of the game behind me. It's a fabulous way to end the hunt, and everybody goes away feeling as if they've achieved something. Not just shooting well and harvesting game, but also putting something back into the environment that offers such amazing sport. So a few of you may be wondering what this branch is here tucked in the side of my hat. Well, it's a European tradition that there are 3 branches that are taken as part of the ceremony when an animal falls. The first goes over the wound, the second goes into the mouth as a final meal for the animal as it passes into the afterlife, and the other is dipped in the animal's blood and then is presented to the hunter that shot the animal. It's a way of connecting the hunter with that animal, and also thanksgiving for it giving its life for us to enjoy its meat and therefore go back into the food chain. So it's a lovely tradition that helps connect the fact that we're hunting here not just for sport, but it's also management of the woodlands, food that goes back into the food chain, and all part of the holistic game management that takes place on the estate. Well, it's been a great pleasure hunting with you.
That's on again, mate. All the best.
Oh my God.
You love it.
Yeah, I do really.
He does, he loves it.
So welcome to the final instalment of our epic wild boar hunting trip to Hungary.